Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, Mansheen and Carta.
Mansheen.
Yeah.
May I ask, where does this come from?
I am part machine, part man hybrid.
Oh, okay.
And I got this power from Eternia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you legally change your name this week?
No.
No.
I changed your name this week.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Before we started recording, you changed my name to something, and I've already forgotten what it was. I probably shouldn't remember this, so I know it legally.
Oh, I called you Good Yorkshire Pudding.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got plans for tomorrow now.
Mm-hmm.
Going down to the place you go to change your names. Where is that?
I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
And I'm changing my name. Yes. I think I'll change it either back to Michael E. Cullen II, or I'm gonna go, or I'm thinking Peekablue.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes. Or Swiftwind.
I like that one too.
Or Orko.
I like that name.
Or Randor.
I like that.
Yes.
I like all the names.
Or Miguel.
Yeah, sure.
That's just like in Spanish anyways, so
oh yeah,
So anyways, today on the show, folks, we are covering the 1985 He-Man and She-Ra A Christmas Special. That's the full name of it.
Yep.
Not just He-Man and She-Ra Christmas Special. It's He-Man and She-Ra A Christmas Special.
Yeah, you gotta make sure.
Implying there are more, but I don't think there are.
I don't know, but it'd be cool if they made more, but
I mean, at least with A Christmas Story, now they have sequels, so that title makes sense now.
Yeah.
Plus, it is A Christmas Story,
Yeah.
but I guess this would be A Christmas Special, so I guess they're just saying we're one of many Christmas specials, not one of many He-Man and She-Ra Christmas specials.
Right. Technically, it's not a lie.
Yeah. So they're saying that they're like in the pantheon with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman and the Peanuts Christmas Special and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. And then we have this one.
Yes. Which we all watch every year.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's the first time I ever even heard of it or saw it, but
No, Matt. You've watched this every year of your life since you were a child, and
see, He-Man was like a few years older.
I don't care. I don't care. You've watched this every. I'm joking.
Like my thing was mainly like Turtles. You know, that was kind of my speed because that came out around. Mm-hmm. So my brother, he watched He-Man a bunch because he's like 5 years older than me, and but I don't know. I kind of remember seeing this, so I don't know. Maybe they aired it, or maybe they had like a VHS or recorded it or whatever, type of thing.
There's a law that you have to watch this every year.
Okay, well, I might watch it every year. I don't know.
And if you've violated this, you're going to have to go to prison.
Oh wow. See, I thought I was not going to be in the Christmas spirit this year, but I've already watched like 4 Christmas movies, I've watched all of the Community Christmas episodes, from season 1 to 4. Yeah, because they only did the first 4 seasons. And
Yeah.
I've watched, obviously this one. I've watched a couple other things I don't remember now, but yeah, and apparently I'm like, Mr. Christmas all of a sudden for some reason. I don't know.
Maybe you
And
should change your name.
Yeah, Mr. Call myself
Mr. Christmas.
Yes. Sesame and Christmas. I don't know.
Yes.
And
Well,
I don't know if we could even call this a frosty failure because
no, I
kind
mean,
of like
I'm going to put it up as that, but with a caveat that it is actually decent. Maybe what I'm thinking here, though. Recently, we covered Christmas Story 2.
Yeah.
And that was still fresh in our minds. So pretty much you could have put a pile of shit and filmed that for 2 hours, and I would have watched that, and I would have enjoyed it more than that movie.
Oh, you mean Christmas Vacation 2?
Yeah, is that what I said? I mean, that's what I mean. Christmas Vacation 2. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, you said Christmas Story.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Christmas Vacation 2. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, so I mean, I think anything like a test pattern on TV is better than that.
It is.
Having somebody pry my eyes open, like in A Clockwork Orange, and making me watch Larry the Cable Guy do his stand-up would be more enjoyable than that. Yes.
Yeah,
so
that movie is absolutely atrocious. Yeah, if you want to check that episode out with Ryan Moore from, was it New Realms Media? Or
yes.
New Realm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, you may want to check out our He-Man episodes featuring him as well.
Yeah, because we did that. That was
not He-Man, but Masters of the Universe. I should say.
Masters of the Universe. Yeah, we gotta be careful because if people they didn't do they did He-Man wrong. It got all woke.
I hate to break it to you, this is kind of woke too, but
it is actually. Yeah, I love that how they say like, I'm like, oh, that's how everything's become now. I'm like, okay, this came out in 1985, so that's 37 years ago, going on 38 years ago actually, and yeah, they got a character named Miguel, which that's like a Spanish name, and at one point He-Man goes, not everyone celebrates Christmas, but the Christmas spirit is within us all, or whatever, so to be like, oh well, they're trying to accept other religions. Like, yeah, 1985, dude. It wasn't like a new thing that just came out, to wokeify you. It's okay, bro. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah, I am trying to figure out what was the sister's name? Alicia or something?
Oh, it was Adora.
No, the Miguel's sister.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it was Alicia.
Okay, the thing I'm trying to figure out though is that, I mean, I'm jumping ahead here, but we see their parents, and they look like Hispanic with dark hair, but she has like this bright blonde hair.
Well, I think the dad may have.
I think she's adopted.
No, I think it was just the dad that may have been Hispanic. I don't know if both of them were.
But they both had dark hair.
Well, that doesn't mean that they're Hispanic, but like.
No, but either way, I'm saying that they kind of looked Hispanic. But
oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just forgot and they just drew a cartoon with blonde hair, and they're like, oh shit, well we gotta go with it now.
But no, I just have this theory that she's an adopted child.
Or maybe it was like some recessive gene from like some ancestor a long time ago.
I mean, that is true. Both of my parents have brown eyes and I have blue eyes.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
You might like. I mean, there's been people who have like white parents and then they're born black because they have some ancestor from like 5 generations prior or whatever, and sometimes it just pops up. It just happens.
Yeah.
Humanity, the human species is pretty wild like that. It's pretty cool.
Yes. And I have a friend who had a child and it was a calico cat. You never know. Wait.
Yeah, sometimes that happens too. Wait,
Oh
what?
no! Oh no!
I was like, wait, what? Was it a man? Was it a man machine? The zipper or whatever his name was.
Yeah, Cutter and
Uh,
Zipper. Yeah.
yeah, what a cutter. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was interesting. A lot happened in this episode. I'm trying to remember
Yeah.
everything because it was actually pretty fast paced and a lot of stuff going on.
I pulled up a synopsis because I didn't remember everything. So
I think back then
even though I just watched it a couple hours ago, so it's like still.
I watched it twice and
Mhm.
I forgot a lot of it. Back then they cared more about substance, I think, than they do now.
Well,
When they make things.
they also cared more about showing you all the product that they're trying to sell you in it too.
Yeah, I didn't see too much product in this one, unless you mean like toys or
Oh,
something.
all the toys. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
every single character is a toy. So the more characters
Oh,
you can fit in there, the more toys you're selling. The more vehicles you fit in there, the more, whatever. So,
damn! I didn't think about that. Yeah,
yeah,
I guess that would.
because I mean,
Yeah.
this He-Man itself, for a little backstory, is prior to this there was there was regulations in place for TV had to be. I mean, there's more regulations than now, but like where it had to be somewhat educational. It also had to. They still have that in place after the deregulations, but they had they did studies that proved that kids couldn't tell the difference between an animated commercial and an episode of an animated television show.
Oh wow.
So when you have a commercial telling you to buy a toy and it's animated, it's like somebody in your television show telling you to buy a toy.
Right. So you have
So
like a 5 minute long commercial.
so basically they made it so you couldn't have an animated show that was specifically made to sell toys.
Okay.
Prior to this, so you didn't have anything, and He-Man's really the first one, one of the first, if not the first, past Reagan. During the Reagan administration, they put in the deregulation, which allowed for you to have shows like this that were made specifically to sell a toy for Mattel or Hasbro or whoever. This was Mattel, but
Wow.
and so the way that GI Joe got away with it prior to that, they had animated commercials with the toys in it, but they weren't commercials for the toys. They had the characters animated, so then kids would see that and be like, "Oh, I need to go get that, Snake Eyes toy or whatever." The reason that they did this, they were advertising the Marvel comics, so it was a loophole.
Wow.
And then eventually they were able to start their own, competing cartoon with He-Man and all the other, and then it opened the floodgates where you ended up having Turtles, and then, and you've got, your Thundercats and all that shit in the 80s where basically every show on TV was selling you a toy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, that's just a little bit of history there, which, is just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Stuck in my head, man.
It's stuck on your head.
Yes.
It's on the top of your head. So it's got crazy glue on it.
Mm-hmm. It's right on top of the earphones. The headphones.
There you
go. Yeah. Anyways, so thoughts here on this. First off, I know we're a little bit far in already, but what are your initial thoughts of this special? I know you said you kind of liked it.
I did kind of like it. It was, like I said, I kind of vaguely remember it, so I'm thinking my brother probably had recorded it, and because they didn't actually sell the tape until much later, so I'm thinking he may have just recorded it when it aired on TV or something like that. Because I don't know, it seemed very familiar to me, and it was kind of silly, it didn't take itself too seriously. I kind of like that era of television, both in terms of sitcoms and animated stuff. And plus too, I like that style of animation more so than like computer animated. I like cartoons. I just think I don't know, they have a certain, even though they're kind of primitive that way, but just like when they're walking, it's kind of clunky looking stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
it's
kind
the
of like.
whole. I mean, this was Filmation, but it's kind of the whole. You're not going to have as fluid of movement as you would like in a Disney, theatrical film or something.
Yeah.
It's like Hanna-Barbera was known for that. Like if you ever noticed on Hanna-Barbera, I know I'm going off topic here, but like something like the Flintstones or Yogi Bear, they all have collars. Like
Yeah.
Fred's Fred's tie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
way in scenes all they had to do was animate above the neck.
Oh,
So the body could stay still.
okay.
So it was the same
That's-
picture, and all they're really doing is animating like Fred's mouth and eyes.
okay. That's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
So
Yeah, I
like,
did. I know.
and
I
there's a
noticed
lot of
that. Yeah,
stuff like this too. Like, and then they reuse backgrounds a lot and stuff too. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool.
But I
Yeah,
think this actually was kind of a little bit better than a lot of the stuff at that time. It was getting a little bit, more, I don't know, better animation, but it was still compared to, something like the new Masters of the Universe or something. It's not as good.
oh yeah, definitely not. Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely not as fluid. But I mean, yeah, but they had a lot of stuff in this episode. A lot of art, a lot of you know, I mean, a lot of drawings, a lot of scenes,
Mhm.
lots of cool, background stuff. I mean, I like the story of it too. I like the plot. It was kind of a little bit creative. Like I don't know. I just liked it. I
Yeah.
don't remember watching He-Man that much as a kid, but if they're kind of similar to this, I wouldn't mind going back and just kind of going through the, beginning to the end or whatever.
Yeah, watch that and maybe Shira.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I
Yeah.
like Shiva a lot too, so I think I might like her
Yeah.
character a little more. I don't know why. I always like the female superheroes.
Well,
I
yeah.
don't know why. Like just for some reason, I don't know
Well, it's
what it
because
is.
especially back then there were so few. I mean,
Yeah,
as far as like Saturday morning, like quote unquote heroes, or Saturday morning, or weekday afternoon, I should say with this one. Um,
mhm.
like my sister, all she had was Shira and Gem in the holograms.
That's
So
right, Jeb. I remember.
yeah,
I remember watching that as a kid too.
I mean,
Um,
you did have like but as far as like kind of heroic characters, I guess you had like Strawberry Shortcake and Rainbow Bright and stuff like that too. But
yeah,
it was like more, this is more superhero type characters in a way.
yeah. Plus two magic's involved and all that cool shit.
Yeah. So
Yeah, what happens?
so in this episode, folks, everybody's at the royal palace preparing for Adam and Adora's first birthday together because they had just found out recently that they were twins. And but while that's going on, Prince Adam is helping Man at Arms finish up the Sky Spy, something I'm sure you could buy in stores.
Probably.
A space shuttle intended to spy on Skeletor.
Yep.
But they're about to head back, and of course, our good old friend Orko comes in and fucks things up. Um,
Like usual. No.
yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go look inside, and
I know. Voice, I love it.
he which is funny. The producer of the show actually, um, Lou Scheimer, he is the voice of Orko.
Okay.
And what they did is they like took his voice and pitched it up to get
Yeah,
that voice.
probably. Yeah,
Yeah,
something like
yeah, because he's also the voice of King Randor, Swiftwind, Spikor, Too Bad, Modulok, Kowl, Rattlor, Horde
that.
Prime, the father at the end of the episode, and Bot.
Wow.
Yeah, they cut corners wherever they could at Filmation. He's like the producer and owner of Filmation, the studio behind animating the show. He did tons of voices on He-Man and She-Ra to save money, and like any other show that they produced. And then Erika Scheimer, his daughter, was also the voice of the mother at the end, Perfuma, and Peekablue.
Wow.
So
yeah, so that's two people pretty much covering like the entire
cast. I mean, the thing is in most animation, you at that time it was like all the voice actors on this were non-union too. So,
oh my god,
yeah,
that's probably why. Then they're like, all right, well,
and any way they could save money, they basically hired it, and they gave him tons of jobs. Like now in animation, because I know a lot about animation because I have friends that are voiceover artists and stuff. You basically, when you get hired for a job, like if I was hired to voice Scooby-Doo, that means I'm voicing Scooby-Doo, and I can they can make me do up to like I think 2 more characters without paying me more.
Right.
So a lot of times you'll have people voicing several characters in a show, but when it gets past that, then you have to get paid more. But when you're non-union, it doesn't matter, I don't think. So
right, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you want the job or you don't.
Yeah. So in a lot of shows, like somebody is like playing one of the main characters, but they're also like reporter number 3 in the background of a scene that has a news story, or or something, or guard or whatever, some random characters.
Right. Guard number 18 or whatever.
So yeah, but like basically all the voices in this this whole show were done by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 people.
Wow. Yeah. And there's like 30 characters in this episode.
At least.
There's so many. Like it's hard to keep up. It's just this is like full. Like you said, though, it's probably trying to sell as many toys as possible. So it's completely jam packed with characters. It's hard to remember everything talking about it just because of like. I know they talked to Perfuma. I know they talked to, was it Mermista?
Yes.
Is that her name, Mermista? Pretty much all the princesses. Catra, obviously shows up. Not Evelyn though. I was surprised.
Yeah, she wasn't in this episode, and neither was like Beast. Neither was like Beastman. But
yeah, that's right. Teela was in it, but she, is
barely
a minor character in this one.
And that's Linda Gary does Teela as well as Queen Marlena.
Okay. See, I didn't know, because I was talking to my dad about this. Like, I didn't know that He-Man and She-Ra were siblings. I was like, was this like a known thing, or like a...
Back then, yes, but then in like modern times, they're separated because of legal reasons. Like certain people own the rights to She-Ra and certain people own the rights to He-Man. So that's why like the She-Ra and the Princesses of Power Netflix series makes no mention of He-Man at all.
Right, and she wasn't in the new Masters of the Universe.
Exactly, because she can't be because of legal reasons. Yeah,
that's stupid. That's sad.
I'm sure it'll eventually be able to cross over in some animated or live action project of some sort. I'd really like to see a live action She-Ra. Because we got our live action He-Man back in the day.
But yeah, that really shitty one from the 80s.
Yeah, which we still need to cover for the podcast.
That's right. Yeah, yes. I know. Yeah, it would be cool. Yeah, so Orko, he fucks up like usual. He ends up pretending to fly the spaceship, like playing around, but then he accidentally pulls one of the things, and then it makes the ship take off. And then so Man-at-Arms and He-Man are like, "What the hell's going on?" And they're like, try to fix it or whatever, and it's not working. So Orko's like just flying around, and then Skeletor eventually finds out or whatever, so he's trying to capture the ship with his weird ship or whatever. And then He-Man or Adam and Adora turn into their, super powered version of themselves, and they basically do a bunch of cool shit to stop the, Skeletor ship. They tie up the hands, they cut them off. Because he had these little extending claws, kind of hooked up to the ship or whatever.
By the way, Skeletor's ship is called the Collector.
Collector. That's great.
Yeah. So, which I'm sure you could get on the shelf at Kmart when you were a
Oh,
kid.
I'm sure as a
Yeah.
collector item. Yeah. I mean, come on. There's so many. They got the robots as well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were
Hmm.
sold. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's just jam packed with characters. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So they destroy the ship, or they at least incapacitate it, and then Orko basically tries to land, and he doesn't really know what he's doing, obviously. So then he ends up crashing on Earth.
Yeah, he uses
Which,
magic to try to do it.
yeah, because he was trying to figure out, because he had like a magic spell book that he dropped on the ground when he was trying to get inside the ship, because he was still learning magic, I guess. Again, I don't know much about the show. I assumed he was like a master magician, but I guess he's still learning. And so he doesn't really know.
Yeah, like he even screws up in the new, like, Kevin Smith produced.
Yeah, he does. So I don't know what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's just like a novice or novice, or it's a confidence issue with him, I think. Yeah. So he lands on Earth, and he sees these two kids that are trying to drag this pine tree, like Christmas tree, but then there's like an avalanche, so he does like his bit of magic to float them away from the the snow, and then eventually he starts talking to them, and asking them like what's going on. They tell him the story of Christmas, and Orko is really fascinated with the idea of presents.
Then it was really weird because they're sitting there telling him the story of Christmas, and then Kirk Cameron shows up out of nowhere, and
right. Because saving Christmas, then he kills Orko because he's a magician.
Yeah,
and the Bible doesn't allow sorcery, so.
when he started telling the story, that's all I thought of. I was like, Kirk Cameron's gonna walk in and be like,
he just shows up in the ship, like he knocks on he just opens the car door of his brother-in-law without knocking or asking permission.
He just opens up the ship and he walks in. He's like, everything you believe is wrong. Wait, what?
Yeah, everything you believe. And guess what? The real Santa Claus used to commit religious violence against his opponents. So that's awesome. Religious violence is great. Sectarianism is awesome. Like,
Christmas isn't about peace and love. It's about materialism, because God made him self-material, and that's why we give
so
presents.
that means that it's great. Yeah, what the hell? And then weird logic. But yeah, so Orko really likes the idea of presents.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, presents is part of it, but it's not, the whole story or whatever type of thing. So they tell him about Santa Claus. They tell him about, like, peace and goodwill to all men and stuff like that. And eventually, there's a lot of stuff going on in this episode. Yeah. So Man at Arms is like, hey, we can get the ship back, but we're gonna need like this crystal or water crystal to like power it up or whatever, to like basically like teleport Orko back to Eternia and the ship as well. And so Adora decides that she's gonna go, but she wants Adam to stay there just in case Skeletor comes back. Or whatever. So she goes off on her journey, to find a water crystal. They run into the beast monster, which I don't know why they couldn't just call it a beast or a monster. It seems pretty redundant to call it a beast monster. They pretty much mean the same thing, but like
it's racism.
It is a little bit. Well, technically, I guess a beast would be any animal, because they call it a beast of burden. So I guess technically they're correct, but a kid's not gonna know that. It's not gonna be like, oh, technically the difference between a beast and a monster is, like, they're not gonna know. Like you said, they're just little kids. They think this is like a 45-minute long commercial to them. So they're not gonna be like analyzing, Webster's dictionary for this. But so they, she defeats the beast monster. Bunch of robots show up, like really big robots. They eventually trap her in a bubble, which I don't know why they wouldn't just kill her. Well, obviously because it was a kids show, but they shoot this laser and it just puts them inside of a bubble. I'm pretty sure a laser would just like burn them or like kill them, but like they can't do that. So it just like puts them in a bubble and they just float down. Then like I didn't really understand what was going on there, because like then like they got like, so like were the robots like part of Horde Prime, or were they like against Horde Prime? Like, who created them? And
I
like,
think they might have been their own thing. Like,
I was just wondering what that was about. Yeah,
I
I
don't know
was
if it's
like,
something you need to watch She-Ra to understand or what, but I don't know.
because he said the robots are evil, but
Hmm.
obviously it seems like they were also against Skeletor. So I don't know who they work for, or someone
Or it
else.
could be they're all out for themselves and they're all trying to capture the, stop the Christmas spirit and capture
It
the.
could be, but who built them? I mean, like they
Yeah.
had to be built by someone because they're robots. But
Hmm.
anyway, I'm reading too much into it.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's selling toys was their
Hmm.
main here, so they didn't really care about consistency. So she eventually changed. She makes her sword really like a flaming sword, so she can cut through the glass, which was a bubble, but then it turned into glass for some reason. They didn't explain that either. But and then she gets the water crystal. I'm jumping over obviously a
That's
bunch,
cool.
but yeah, she gets the crystal. She brings it back, and then Adam, he's I think he's going after Skeletor. I think because at some point he's trying to do his own thing, trying to figure out. So I forgot what he's trying to do, but oh yeah, he's trying to get the ship back, and so they do the crystal thing, and there's like a light that Orko's supposed to like stand under, and that's what will teleport him back to Eternia. But he has the two kids do it too because they're like in the middle of nowhere and frozen. So they all
Yeah.
show up to Eternia, and they're like,
Hmm.
"Uh oh, like what do we got to do now?" Because now these two kids are in Eternia, and they're like, What's we want Christmas or whatever, type of thing, or like don't worry, we'll celebrate Christmas here or whatever." And like some dude's playing the lute, and he like wrote like this Christmas song out of nowhere, which
Yeah,
means
that
he
that's
must be like,
Bo. He's
that's right, Bo, yeah.
yeah. And yeah. I mean, I'm thinking this whole time while this is happening on Earth, they're posting up pictures of the kids on the street.
Oh, for sure.
And then
Milk cartons and yeah,
hoping that
then,
hope that's a whole nother movie we didn't watch.
exactly, worrying about the worst and just not being able to sleep at night to get dad stop shaving
It's
and
like
eating.
an early
Uh,
'90s Lifetime movie or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
the mother's drinking like wine spritzers to cope with,
Yeah.
uh,
Hmm. I don't
such a
know.
sad movie.
Don't know where my
But
kids are. I'm gonna go have sex with the pool boy. Oh wait, what?
oh god,
No,
I don't think I had a pool, but
I'm just joking.
it was winter. But no,
Why not?
but well, you can swim the hot pool, I guess, the hot tub. No, so they do that, and then of course like Skeletor like almost immediately kidnaps the kids, or well, that sounds weird, abducts the kids. It's
Yes.
redundant called kidnapping, and anyways he abducts the children, so now he's a human trafficker of children. So that's
Hmm.
not a really good look. There's laws
It's
against that
it's
on Earth.
it's
I'm not sure if
it's
Eternia different, but and on Earth that could get you
it's all part of a QAnon conspiracy.
yeah, exactly. Oh, because at one point Skeletor goes, "I must save the children." So I'm like, "Oh, wow, there it goes." Like, QAnon was like 35 years in the past, actually preparing the way.
Well, every time I picture Q, I think he looks like Skeletor. So
I mean, there you go, right? So yeah, he immediately just like vector beam, and then just like abducts them into his ship. There's also this weird thing going on with Horde Prime where he's like basically like whoever delivers the children to Horde Prime, because like his whole thing is that like, oh, the Christmas spirit is like infecting the land, and it's like making the
yeah, so
evil people
he
use their
creates this
power.
like competition between Skeletor and Hordak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like yeah, whoever delivers them will be rewarded accordingly or whatever type of thing. So they're off trying to do their own thing, and then Skeletor gets to them first, and you know the kids just keep like basically running him down, like because he's like, "Please, we're so cold, Mr. Skeletor." So then he like does his magic to give him like fur coats or whatever.
Scam kids.
And then like they
Oh wait.
they got these yeah, they got this man sheen. Oh yeah, that's right, because the man sheens, because the robots actually first put him in like a jail cell, and then the man sheens showed up, cut the bars, and then Zipper, his cousin, showed up and was gonna take them away, but then the robots came to basically put them back. But then that's when Skeletor showed up, I think, or no, I don't remember. Who cares? Anyway, He-Man and She-Ra, that's right. They show up, but then Skeletor shows up and he abducts them. I don't know. And then so they took one of the Manchines, like a puppy dog, and then Skeletor's gonna make him leave the dog, but then he felt sorry for the dog, so then he picked it up and he's like, "What's coming over me?" or whatever, type of thing. And he keeps getting nicer throughout the journey, and then eventually he doesn't hand him over to Horde Prime. He actually ends up protecting them from him and destroys his ship, for at least sort of destroys his ship. He's like, "I don't know what's going on, but I must save the children." Right then, a big Q thing pops down, and then it's like, "Go to our Telegram page or whatever." No, not really. And then
and by the way, Skeletor is voiced prominently and really well by Alan Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
and
really,
he also voiced Man-at-Arms and Zipper.
Really, that's very interesting.
Because none of them sound alike at all, so it's just
don't know, man. Especially Man-at-Arms, he's got very
if you ever find online, there's plenty of interviews with Alan Oppenheimer on YouTube.
Yeah,
he seems like an awesome guy. He was also the voice of what was it? He was the voice of, I'm trying to remember the character's name. It was a Never-Ending Story. The big white thing that they fly on, the dog-looking thing.
oh yeah, that thing. Yeah.
I
don't know the name, but
yeah, now I'm trying to find it. Damn it.
I mean, I think we all know what it is because we've all seen that movie. That image of that dog is almost indebted into everyone's mind. He's such a iconic, character. But yeah, I don't remember his name either.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it now. It was is it Felcor or something like that?
Well, that name sounds familiar. I'm not sure if that's it, but
Yeah.
that name sounds something like.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the horse that drowned in the mud, was it? That was different.
I don't think so.
That was a Braxis or
something.
I have a theory that horse didn't actually die. It just went down there, but then it went into a tunnel, and then it just
yeah, it's Felcor.
That's right. Yeah,
it was Felcor. He also voiced Gamork, Gmork, and Rockbiter in Neverending Story.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, he's also recently he was the voice of King Grayskull in He-Man. Mossman. I'm sorry, but in the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series, which is more geared towards kids, that's on Netflix. He's King Grayskull, but in Kevin Smith's one, he was Mossman. So yeah.
Oh, I like that character.
Yeah. So yeah,
he was really cool.
Yeah, Kevin brought him back, but not as his original characters. But yeah, still cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, man.
Back to our story here.
I mean, yeah, obviously I skipped over a lot, but
yeah, it's okay.
I mean, a lot of the details because again, there's so many characters. I mean, God, it's hard to remember. I mean, all that. There's probably at least 40 characters in this 42-minute long thing. Yeah, so Skeletor,
that we can telepathically tell your little boys and girls to,
yeah,
tell your mom and dad to buy it at the Hills department store or whatever.
Yes, and try until they just give in and buy you stupid piece of plastic. It's gonna break in 2 days. But the older toys didn't break.
No, those actually, I still have some of my Masters of the Universe toys. So
yeah, and I still got some turtles somewhere. But yeah, they didn't break as easily back then because they weren't fucking cheap plastic like they are now. But anyway, And yeah, so Skeletor, they have this little joke where he's like, I don't know what's come over me. And then they're like, what? She-Ra's like, well, don't worry, Skeletor. Christmas only comes around once a year. They're like, you know, like you know, it's funny, get it? Because, you know, because he doesn't like feeling good because he likes feeling bad, I guess, or something. I don't know. And then, like, why would you want to feel bad? But that's a whole other thing. But, like, I like being evil, or and like, because he was asking the kids too. He's like, so Christmas, when you open the presents, they explode, right? They're like, no. And they're like, oh, Christmas, you get into fights, right? They're like, no. He's like, well, I like fights. Like, what the hell?
I think you should. I think you should talk like that from now on.
What? Just do my own Skeletor voice?
Yeah,
like,
it sounds pretty close.
It is a little close. I know.
It is.
I don't know what's gotten into me. And so yeah, they go back to the party, which was, you know, supposed to be Adora's and Adam's like twin birthday party, but they kind of make it into like a Christmas party as well. And then they send the kids back, and Adam's dressed up as Santa Claus. But
they give him gifts too of these flying.
That's
belts.
right. Yeah, they give him these cool. Yeah, that's right. Those things. What were they called? Flying something?
Flying belts, I think.
Belts. That's right. Yeah. That was pretty nifty. I like that. And
I got one. I got one last year for Christmas.
You got one?
Yeah, last year for Christmas. I fly around all the time.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah,
pretty expensive if you're to sell it.
Yeah, whenever I need to go to the store, I just fly over there. It's great.
I like that.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't fly too high with like the airplane fly or something like that, because you'll end up.
Yeah, I made that mistake once. It was
So after they, you know, send the kids back from being, you know, abducted, you know, and the parents are worried sick, they're like, oh, you know, that's a tall tale, and we're just glad you're home. And they're like, no, we really did. We really went to Eternia. They're like, okay, time to go to bed. Then they turn on.
So that's what the man in the paneled van told you to say, right? Oh wait.
Whoa. Yeah. That's what they told. So they turn on their belts and they fly across the room, and the parents are like, what? That somehow, like, they're watching it on the TV screen from Eternia, so I don't know how. So is there I guess they could see inside you?
Yeah, because everywhere on Earth is monitored 24/7 by Eternia, so they can watch you when you're, you know, in the shower and stuff.
I don't like that idea at all. I was like, what the hell's going on here? How did what's the queen's name? I don't know her name.
Marlena.
So how did Marlena know about Christmas? Was she originally from Earth?
She's an Earthling.
Okay.
Yeah. Prince Adam is half Earthling. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so is Princess Adora. I mean, Prince Adam and Princess Adora. Yeah, they're half Earthling and half Eternian. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And so like they have this little end thing where, like, you know, Adam's telling Orko about, you know, like, well, Orko already knows about Christmas, but Adam's, I guess, like, just repeating, I don't know. And then Orko's like, in presents or whatever, and he's like, oh, it's not just about presents or whatever, blah blah blah, you know. And Orko's like,
funniest part earlier was before that is as they're celebrating, Adam is dressed up as Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And he gave the kids their flying belts. And they're like, thank you, Santa, blah blah blah, and everything. And then the end, it's like Adora and him are standing there. It's like, you knew it was me the whole time, didn't you? And it's just like, yeah, anybody with a brain would know that. I mean, I was looking.
I know. I like the way she said, like, that was like really funny to me. That tone, like, And plus, it looks kind of cool too because of like the animation is kind of somewhat primitive still.
Yeah.
So it kind of had this sort of funny thing to it. I liked it.
Yeah. But yeah, like you were saying, they end with this little like afterward sort of thing with you know, this bumper or whatever you want to call it with
well, it's the educational portion of it, like you said.
Yeah.
See, it had to be educational, at least some of it, and so they put it at the very end.
Yes.
after they showed you all like 50,000 toys.
Well, it's like with GI Joe when they had those, you know, Now you know, and knowing's half the battle.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe. Yeah.
After you just watch us like knock the shit out of our enemies, then we're gonna tell you like be peaceful now.
But the thing is you couldn't have anybody die on any of those shows.
Oh
so,
yeah, of course.
So like on those shows they didn't shoot with actual guns, they were like laser guns.
Yeah.
That and you had to show, you couldn't have anybody, you can have people die off screen, you can talk about them dying, but at the time you legally couldn't have anybody die on screen. So they would always show like if they shot down a bad guy's ship or car or whatever, you'd have to show them like parachuting out of it or something. So
right, like the Cobra, what they call Cobra. So that's the episode. It's He-Man and She-Ra, a Christmas special.
A Christmas special.
Also, too, they did this weird thing where like they would do like the themes, like go She-Ra, and they would have like the text written. I thought was kind of weird, but kind of cool at the same time.
Well, it's like in the TV series they used to do that too, like on each show. So did you want to hear some trivia here before we wrap things up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the Earth coordinates shown on the screen relate to the Filmation studio address at the time of production, including the street number and zip code, phone number, and telex number. I don't know what telex is, probably like a fax number.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. The character model used for the Snow Beast is a reuse of the Ice Hacker from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the Dragon's Gift. Okay, whatever. She-Ra fires a beam from the crystal in her sword at the Monstroids. It's the only other time she used this ability was in another episode of the show, so she only did that twice. These trivia things suck, by the way. There's nothing cool.
Well, you already kind of said a bunch of trivia.
Yeah, I did. Then like none of that's in here. Man-at-Arms needs a Carium water crystal. In Filmation's other show, Brave Star, which was a kind of similar type of show, but it, like totally different, but similar style of animation and stuff. Carium was the most valuable substance on the planet New Texas. Yeah. If you've never seen Brave Star, check it out. It's interesting.
I will, because I never heard of it.
Yeah, we'll have to cover that for a future episode. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's most people tend to look on this fondly, but also realize how cheesy it is as well. So
yeah, I mean it is very much so.
But yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it.
It's good.
So, any final thoughts here before we wrap things up?
No, just the usual.
Yes. We have exceeded the time of the actual special we covered.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So with that thought, folks, please be kind to each other, especially this time of year. Even though you want to give each other exploding presents, please don't do that.
Get into fights with Skeletor.
Yes, don't. Also, don't abduct kids from their home planet and take them to yours.
It's not a good. Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Not a good look. Not a good look at all. Well, I'll more blanket that statement. Just don't abduct kids.
Or anyone, really, for that matter.
And I don't know.
Like, don't abduct Kevin Bacon either. Yeah.
Like,
don't do it.
No. Don't abduct. Damon Wayans, like in that in that one movie where he played a basketball.
My God. Celtic Pride.
Yes.
Wow, that's like a deep cut right
I
there.
know.
Wow, I used to watch that movie all the time when
Me
I was a
too.
kid.
I used to have it recorded off of like HBO or something and watched it all the time.
I watched it a few years ago and I was like, this did not hold up. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm not really into it.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out again soon just to see. But be kind to each other, folks. Check out our Facebook. That's the best way to be kind.
Yeah.
Check out
Yeah.
all2real2.com. That's really important this time of year.
Yeah.
Make sure on Christmas morning after you open up your presents, you go to all2real2.com right afterwards.
And like donate like, I don't know, like $500 or something like that, you know.
Yeah, give us a present too.
Yeah,
Wait,
you know.
I'm being presents
You
are
know.
presents are the reason for the season, right?
Well, part of it.
No. Okay, so
Part of the reason.
if we learned anything this season from Kirk Cameron, it's that materialism is the reason that we celebrate Christmas.
I mean, I guess so. I mean, because Jesus was a material being, and therefore, since he was the gift of God that saved humanity, then therefore, that's why you should buy your kids a bunch of junk for Christmas. I mean, that's what I learned from the movie. So
Me too. And folks, we're probably gonna have one more episode this year before we wrap up for 2022. So make sure you tune in next week, and maybe it'll be a special episode, or maybe it won't. But remember, I love you, and Sesame loves you.
Yes.
And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.